Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jason with Ketamine Academy. Wanted to share a little information with you and also practice my live setup. I'm going to be starting to do live interviews on Facebook, and then we're also going to turn those into YouTube videos, and also we're going to rip the audio out of them, edit them up a little bit, and then turn them into a podcast. So got lots of new stuff coming up, and I am technology testing at the moment, and I'm just going to see how this works out. We should be live right now on the Ketamine Clinic startup group. All right, cool. I see myself. I'm using my phone to see if I'm live here. Looks like everything's working out. We've got about looks like there's a little bit of a delay, maybe like a minute delay. All right, cool. So it looks like everything's working. We have one viewer. Will you do me a favor and just let me know if you can hear me? Perfect. Thanks. It's probably my wife, my one and only viewer, helping me make sure everything's running right. All right, cool. So basically I wanted to share with you while I'm testing this new broadcasting system for the interviews that we'll be doing with healthcare entrepreneurs coming up here in the next few weeks. Basically, I just want to share with you what I've been learning. So essentially it has been a lot of marketing. I got rid of my marketing team recently, and so I've been studying the heck out of marketing, including copywriting. And so I just wanted to figure I might as well share it. If I'm learning it and studying it, I might as well pass on the knowledge. One of the things I've been learning a lot about is copywriting and how important words are when it comes to, getting your message across and ultimately selling your service or product or whatever. So this is a great book. I don't know if anybody's read that one before. Ray Edwards, Copyright, How to Write Copy That Sells. Excellent book. And maybe I'll do a video on that later, just kind of going through sort of the main points. He has some pretty good information in there, kind of gives you a good layout and a good formula for writing copy. So one of the things I want to talk about that I've been learning and have learned over the past many months, years, is patient marketing and marketing towards a patient and what the process involves. And so one of the things that's involved is sort of moving your patient from what we call the island of pain, is how one of the marketing books phrased it, and I love that one. So your goal is to move your patient from the lovely island of pain. So they're sitting here, they're not happy. They've got all sorts of complaints and problems. And as a marketer, whether you're marketing your clinic or anything, your responsibility is, and your goal is to address the pain points that this individual is feeling and sort of get them to where they want to be. And so where they want to be, we call the island of pleasure. And over here, they're like super happy. And so in order to get your patient from where they're at, the pain they're experiencing, or your whoever you're marketing to, doesn't have to be a patient, it could be anybody. But in order to get them from here, the island of pain, to the island of pleasure, you need to build a bridge. Like the only way they're going to get there is to bridge the gap, is what they say. And so what this gap is filled with is a bunch of disbelief. Disbelief. So we call that the disbelief gap. And in order to get from, the island of pain to the island of pleasure, you need to really be able to describe in words or in videos or in any other fashion the pain that they're feeling. That's going to first get their attention. You have to describe the pain. You have to describe the discomfort that they're feeling. The one book said to use it as or to describe it as their symptoms. And so if a patient is, has a cold, then what a physician does or a medical provider does to diagnose the cold is to look at their symptoms. And so you have a patient or anybody on the island of pain, and you're trying to look at the symptoms that might be causing them the pain. And then you're going to gear your marketing towards the symptoms that they're feeling, and that way you can really resonate with them. If you can't get somebody to sort of know and like and trust you, and then ultimately really like you, then they're not going to want to buy from you. They have to like you in order to want to buy from you. And so your goal during this whole process is to get them to know, like, and trust you. You're going to bridge the disbelief gap to get them to the island of pleasure. And the island of pleasure is the service that you offer, right? So if, for example, we'll just stick to ketamine clinics here, although this can be used in a lot of different settings. So you've got a patient here who is on the island of pain. So typically they're suffering from a few different things, right? They're suffering from pain, depression, maybe PTSD. So the idea is going to be to figure out the symptoms, the emotions, the problems that are caused as a result of, let me just spin that just a touch more so you can see that, of the pain, the depression, or the PTSD. And you want to really hit home on those in your marketing. So for example, when somebody's having pain, if you really want to try and resonate with them, you want to, in your marketing, describe what that pain is causing them, the problems that it's causing them. And so maybe it is resulting in an inability to stand for long periods of time. Maybe it's causing them relationship problems with their wife. Maybe they can't be intimate with their wife. Maybe the pain that it's causing them is maybe because they're unable to stand, they're unable to earn income. And so maybe one of the pains that their physical pain is causing them is actually the inability to make money. So their decrease in income. Maybe emotionally that decrease in income sort of causes them to feel like less of a person. Not sure if you guys can read that, but I'm saying everything I'm writing. So when you're marketing to your patients, you really want to focus on, you really want to put yourself in your patient's shoes. And so what the marketers do when they do this is they develop what they call a patient avatar. And so they literally write down what a day in that patient's life would be and what their symptoms and their problems and their pains and their emotions would be as they move through their day. And you need to gear all of your marketing, your initial marketing, to get their attention. You need to gear that towards exactly what they're feeling, what their problems are, in order to get their attention. Same sort of thing goes with depression. Same sort of thing goes with PTSD. The first thing you have to do is get their attention. The best way to do that is to really hit home on their pains, especially the sort of intimate type of pains or the emotional type of pains, because that's really going to make them feel like they resonate with you, that you understand them, and then they're going to want to keep reading on or listening on to those videos, right? As you're doing your marketing. And so as you initially get their attention, that's sort of like over here at the beginning of this bridge that we have here. Not much of a drawer. Otherwise, let's just try and draw a little bridge here. Come on, let's see what we got. So the idea is to slowly move them in a stepwise fashion over to the island of pleasure, which is them becoming your patient. And in order to do that, you need to develop or you need to create their ability to know, like, and trust you. If somebody doesn't know, like, and trust you, there it goes, a little blurry. Somebody doesn't know, like, and trust you, then they are not going to want to do business with you. So your goal during your marketing steps is to get them to know, like, and trust you. As you're moving them through these steps, well, I wasn't going to go here, but I think it's really important to understand this part too. So let's step back for 1 second and let's explain what a marketing funnel is, because this is really applicable. I wasn't going to go here because that kind of gets us a little bit off topic, but let's talk about a marketing funnel. Literally looks just like a funnel that you would use, I don't know, back in your college days at the frat parties or something. And so the idea is to pull the patients into your funnel using various marketing tactics. Those include things like video. Those include things like emails, free offers, maybe Facebook ads. And this would be cold emails, so like emails to strangers, essentially. So where this marketing funnel plays in is that as you're pulling them into your funnel, that's where you hit on their major emotional pain points to get their attention, to get them to give you, if you don't already have it, their email address. So that way, once you have their email address, you can start to work them through the process. You can get them to cross this bridge of from their island of pain to their island of pleasure, which is making the decision to become your patient. And so the key to this is to start here to get their attention, get them into the funnel. If you don't already have their email address, you're going to get their email address, and then you're going to start to send them through these different steps of the funnel. And so up here at the top of the funnel, they probably don't know much about the service or product that you offer. So this is really broad. So this is like your first broad level piece of marketing campaign. And so what you're going to do here is something like a webinar is a pretty good way to sort of educate the patient. After you get their attention, you would email them an invitation to a webinar. And on that webinar, you would continue to get them to want to know, like, and trust you. And so this could be just an educational webinar. That's probably the best way to do it. You're not going to sell them anything on this very first contact that you're making with them. Well, I guess it would be the second. The first contact is right here. The second contact, so this would be step 2. After they've sort of opted in to your marketing, they've given you their email address, so they're sort of a warm lead. They see that maybe you kind of understand them. They want more information. So in the marketing funnel, they fall down in here to step 2. They've given you their email address. From here, you're going to send them a webinar, which is basically just a video sales letter, a video education piece. And you're going to explain your products and services in a way that still relates to the pain that they're having. And so this might be an example of step one. It doesn't have to be a webinar. You could do a bunch of different things here. The first thing could be possibly an ebook download, an educational ebook download. Those work pretty well too. It really just kind of depends on what your system is, and what you test out and find out to be the most effective. So what I found out in my clinic was that giving educational pieces first started to develop the know, like, and trust. So we would send them to videos. It doesn't even have to be a full webinar. It could be a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be anything long. Most patients are not going to have, most everybody has a terrible attention span these days. Everybody has been completely bombarded with marketing materials. And so you really want to keep this pretty short, pretty sweet, pretty to the point. If you send them a webinar or a video piece of education. And so as you're moving them through this funnel, so you've given them the video piece of education, then next, maybe in your email campaign, to continue developing the know, like, and trust, you're going to send them possibly a I would probably do another educational video / webinar. Like I said, this can just be a 5-minute video, helping them understand that you understand what they're experiencing and then how your products or services can help them on their journey. You know, it's not supposed to be salesy. It's not supposed to be a pitch. It's supposed to just be free information. If you study a little bit about the psychology of marketing, you will find out that a lot of people feel sort of obligated to do business with you after you've given them enough free information or free services, or you've shown them a lot of goodwill and you've given them value. And so that's kind of the strategy here that we're using, is that you are going to be giving them, providing them a lot of value. You're essentially educating them along the way, and as you're educating them, they are going to want to do business with you. So what I would do is, just like we talked about here for step 3, I would do a second video, a second educational video specifically to the pain points that the patient has. Step number 4, I would probably you can maybe offer them a quiz to fill out. These are pretty good. The quizzes can actually go higher in the funnel or here, but this way you can get even more specific information from the patient on exactly what they might be suffering from. So that way you can more target your responses to the symptoms that they're experiencing, both emotional and physical, and then the problems that are happening in their life as a result of those symptoms. So in the funnel, we've already sent them one webinar video, 5-minute video, just educational about your products and services. Maybe a few days later in our email sequence, we send them another video, more education, more value. You're not selling them at this point. Then maybe you offer them a quiz, and you can structure this quiz in all sorts of different ways, but you can give them a quiz, and the reason they might want to do that is for some more like personal discovery. Maybe you give them, I don't know, if they're having pain, maybe you give them a quiz that will help them figure out if they're suffering from neuropathic pain or chronic pain or inflammatory pain. And so they're going to find value in something like that. Next step, step 5, could potentially be something like a free consult. I would highly recommend doing a free consult. These were super effective for my clinic. And in the free consult, you're still continuing to provide value. They're already moving all the way along this the bridge here from being in the island of pain they're moving from being in the island of pain to the island of pleasure, which is ultimately this island is them becoming your patient so that you can help fix their problems. So I hope that makes sense. It's pretty straightforward. Now that I've back when I first started, it wasn't straightforward at all. The idea is to, well, one, you have to have all the systems in place. That's one of the biggest hurdles that you have to overcome. You have to have the systems in place to be able to do all of this and make it automated. If you don't have it automated, it becomes too much work and nobody's going to do it. You're going to get emails, you're going to get leads, and then they're just going to drop off because you don't have an automated system in place, and your secretary or your front desk helper is not going to be able to handle all of this stuff. Excuse me, let me just grab a drink here. So when you get this all, this is sort of like the conceptualization of how to move a patient, especially as it gets to high ticket items too. Don't let me forget to say that. The higher the price of becoming a patient, the more work it's going to take to move them from the island of pain to the island of pleasure. The more convincing they're going to need that you have the compassion, the knowledge, the ability to help them solve their problem. And the only way to do that is by moving them across this bridge through a series of, and moving them down this funnel. This bridge and this funnel are sort of representative of each other, and moving them through a series of educational pieces that get them to know, like, and trust you and do business with you. And so at this free consult, this is actually where, so you've given value, given value, given value, given value at this free consult. You offer them, one of the marketing books that I read, they call this the Pegasus. So at this free consult, you offer them the Pegasus, which is the solution to their problem, which is the service that your clinic offers that they're going to pay for. And that's the end. They accept your Pegasus and they become your patient. So unlike what a lot of clinics are doing, which is literally the patient calls and says, hey, I'm interested in getting ketamine infusion services. How much does it cost? And whoever answers the phone says, okay, well, it's $500 per infusion. When can we book your appointment? That's not how real business is done, especially when you're trying to move and trying to sell a product. The higher the product you're trying to sell, or the higher the cost to the patient, the more steps and the more work it's going to take them, the more work it's going to take for you to get them to know, like, and trust you. And so the only way to do that is through a stepwise automated system of education, 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 which is value, 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 value. You're giving them free information, free value, free consult. At the free consult, you offer them the solution to their problem. You do not ever offer them the Pegasus, the solution to their problem, here when they very first engage with you. That's terrible, especially the higher the price ticket item that you have. Like, if somebody walked up to you and said, hey, I've got this sweet BMW for sale. It's $70,000. Here's a few features of it. Looks pretty sweet, right? I know you really wanted a BMW. Your wife told me you wanted a BMW, so here it is. You're going to buy it, right? I've got it to offer you. Here it is. Take it. Nobody's going to do that, right? Like, you have to develop a relationship with the dealer. You got to check them out a little bit. You have to make sure that you know, like, and trust them before you do business with them, right? That's the exact same thing that happens when you're doing marketing for your clinic. Work them through this process. Do not immediately give them an offer unless they already did all their own research. They know. Every once in a while you get a patient like that, but the overwhelming majority of patients do not want an offer right off the bat. They want to be sort of sweet talked and educated and given a lot of value all the way up through the bridge process, all the way up to the offer. So looks like this video went okay. We got a couple comments in there. I'm just going to test a couple of features here while I'm playing with this, since this is the first time I've used this software. This software is called BeLive TV, by the way. First time I've used it, figured I would test it out because we are going to be doing a lot of interviews coming up soon with healthcare entrepreneurs. If you haven't noticed me put any posts out yet, I've been putting out a few, so pay close attention. I'm inviting everybody to a new group called the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy Facebook group. And in that group, we're going to be doing live interviews with healthcare entrepreneurs from all around the country, video interviews, and they are going to be telling their story, telling their journey. They're going to be giving you ideas and pieces of advice to help you or your friends or anybody else journey to becoming a healthcare entrepreneur or becoming a better healthcare entrepreneur. They're going to be giving you all sorts of ideas, some crazy things that some healthcare professionals are doing to have additional streams of income. And it's pretty impressive. I've already talked to inventors. I've talked to medical professionals who have, somebody just said, oh yeah, somebody's just verifying that it works good. Cool, thanks a lot for letting me know everything's working good. We do have a little bit of a bug because it's not showing me your name. So I'll have to figure that out, and then I can respond to you personally. But I can share that post, which is kind of cool, right? The most recent post that came in. But anyways, what I was saying was that some of these healthcare entrepreneurs have done some really crazy things that you wouldn't normally think that a medical professional would be doing, because most medical professionals are just working their 9 to 5 or their 7 to 7 or their 24-hour shifts. They're not doing anything entrepreneurial. But I've been able to tap into a bunch of really high-level entrepreneurs. So I've talked to some inventors that are going to be on this show, and I'm going to put a link down below too. After this video is over, I'll link you to the other Facebook group. That's more for like generalized healthcare entrepreneurship. This group is more specific to ketamine. But that way, if you guys want to join that group, that's where all those live interviews are going to be taking place. So we've got inventors that I'm going to be interviewing. I have a lady, a registered nurse who came from Africa. This lady is so impressive. I saw her at an entrepreneurship conference, and she's going to be doing an interview with me. But she started a non-medical home healthcare company and turned that into an online business, doing consulting and education. And she's now a multimillionaire from doing that that originally started out as a side business. I have met, a nurse who created a multi-million-dollar education business selling educational products directly to hospitals. I have met a medical provider who has started an agency, a staffing agency, multi-million-dollar staffing agency. I have met a nurse anesthetist who has, and all these are going to be on the interviews, by the way. I've already lined them all up. I'm so excited to get started on these things. Just having to hammer out these technical things and the back end stuff to make sure everything goes well. But I've also talked to a CRNA who has invested in commercial real estate. Pretty interesting story that he has. Originally, he started out in restaurant investing, had a failure there, learned from his mistakes, got back into the game, started an urgent care and now he's investing in the solid ground that the urgent cares sit on, and he does the land development and then leases spaces to urgent cares now. The list goes like on and on and on and on. I've met a physician's, not a physician, a physical therapist who has a podcast. He also has developed a physical training application for the phone. So he's going to be on the podcast. Like so many people, you guys are going to love this. Bringing you tons of cool ideas for how you can start businesses if you guys want to start another stream of income, or if ketamine clinics is not the thing for you. It's not for everybody. But I'm going to be bringing you a ton of different options, and I'm super excited about it. So anyways, I'm going to post the link in the comments down here, and that'll be to the other Facebook group, which will be where all those interviews take place. We're going to do those as many as possible. Right in that live group, we're also going to take the videos and put them on YouTube. So in case you missed the live, they'll be on YouTube. And then we're also going to take the audio out of the video and turn it into a podcast. So 3 different ways to consume the content. I know some people like it in different ways, like the audio is really easy to consume in the car in a podcast fashion. So super excited about that, and stay tuned for more information. It's coming up really soon. We have just put together our email sequence for our interviewees to make sure that we're getting you the some high quality interviewees and high quality audio, high quality video. And yeah, so I hope this was a little bit valuable for you. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll check the video afterwards. If you, sorry, I'm just, like I said, this is my first time using this software. So I'm just playing with a few functions here while I've got it on live feature. So that's pretty cool. You can take my name on and off the screen. Cool. Pretty neat feature. I think this is probably going to be the platform that we use for our live interviews in that other group. So I like it so far. I've got my cell phone over here. I'm just checking the live video feed. Using the software, so I'm just making sure everything's looking okay, so I can hash out and fix any kinks that might be going on here. But it looks pretty good. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'm super excited about these interviews that'll be coming up, and I'll probably be posting a few more of these in here just to keep provide you guys with some free information and provide a little value. If you guys are interested in signing up for the Ketamine Academy, that course is online on KetamineAcademy.com. You can check it out there. There's a free webinar. If you're not sure if you're interested, the webinar is it's a little over an hour. It's a little bit about myself, a little bit about the history of ketamine, why it's sort of a booming thing right now, and a little bit about how I got started, my story, and then for those of you who are interested in buying, that's an offer on there as well. But all right, guys, it was a pleasure. I hope you have a great night, and we will see you on the next live broadcast. Thanks for bearing with me here as I've tested this bad boy out. Seems to be working pretty good. Talk to you later.